It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
The media. The media, now I feel like we have to set the table. How do they get paid, Bo?
They don't get paid for sharing relevant information or even for sharing accurate information. They get paid for getting eyeballs on the thing that is they want eyeballs on, because ultimately they want advertisers to pay them for showing their advertisements.
So advertising, do you think it's inspirational? No. More eyes hit, their sledgehammer is fear and anxiety.
Yep.
I mean, if they can scare the heebie-jeebies out of you, it's going to get more eyeballs on their story. So you need to understand that the media does not care about you. They care about your eyeballs.
That's right.
They want to know that you're looking at their stuff, not worried about how well you're sleeping at night. I can assure you of that. The whole thing, if it bleeds, it leads. There's a reason that is a term within news cycles. I didn't make that up, by the way.
I've never even heard that. Didn't even know that was a
Go
thing.
Google it and you'll see this is something news media uses. If it bleeds, it leads. They want to put that scare the heck out of you. That's their sledgehammer. Social media. How do people on social media, influencers and others, how do they get paid, Bo?
They want clicks, they want page views, they want viewers, they want readers, they want subscribers.
That sounds a lot like the media.
So it's all
So
like
wait a
a
minute.
social version
Now
of that.
realize we're on social media. So we I will tell you, we get paid based upon how many of you watch our YouTube channel.
Yep, it's
we
true.
get clicks from it. So, what makes us different is that hopefully you can tell we're just kind of wired a little different. We could make more money. And this is something I want to tell you. Have you ever noticed on YouTube, why are a lot of the thumbnails, why is clothing optional?
Lot of skin
Have
in-
you noticed how many thumbnails appeal to? They have ladies and sometimes they have men that clothes just didn't seem to be around when they were setting up those thumbnails. What happened? I don't know what happened. They're trying to get your clicks.
So one of the things we'd actually talked about, we floated this out of the team, is that we were going to do some pictures of Brian and I, just topless in swim trunks,
don't tell
and make
them
that
that.
our clip art to see if it went viral.
Now, y'all know.
The team voted it down. It was ridiculous, but I thought it was a great
Flex
idea.
McGee over here would actually like that. Mid-40-year-old Brian who's just trying to keep the whole flabbiness, under control. We'll just, I don't want to put any mental pictures in your head, but just know that there's something going on. And then your friends. Here's the thing about social media. I don't think people give you their true self on social media. They give you the best version of themselves. And, just because you don't have as many clicks or how many friends, I don't think you should let that shape your mind.
Social
completely.
media is totally a highlight reel, because we put the things up there that are the pretty things and the happy things and the good things. It's not the real reel, it's the highlight reel.
If it's the highlight reel, it's the airbrush highlight reel.
Oh,
now
yeah,
realize my
yeah.
wife, right out of college, she came out of college with a digital animation degree. But, in Georgia, there was not a lot of animation studios. So her job right out of college was making swimsuit models and underwear models look better by digitally taking off the things that we all see. So everything you see out there in social media, because my wife, by the way, she took a picture this weekend. We had my mother-in-law's 80th birthday party, and she took this picture, and she goes, Mom was all stressed out because she didn't have makeup on when we took the picture. she goes, I just put some makeup on her she has
Just
some
right there
app.
on her cell
She
phone.
had some app
Yeah.
that nothing is real out there in social media. So don't let that stuff influence you. Now, next one is going to break your heart, because it broke mine. Another whisper in your ear that probably is wrong. Your parents.
Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that.
And family. I'll throw family on there too. I grew up, I had a great childhood. I had two loving parents, stayed married, both gainfully employed, pretty much my whole time, except for, I will say, my dad lost his job when I was it was the end of middle school, first of high school, and that kind of shaped me to where I wanted to be my own man and be self-employed, because I watched the company fire him after he'd been there for like 23 years.
Right.
Devastating. But here's something that I caught on as I've become more knowledgeable and understand. My parents told several things to me that I found out have not been true financially. They told me wealthy people don't pay taxes. I did tax returns for 16 years as a tax preparer, as a CPA, and then sold my tax business. And now, as I've had more success, I will tell you, wealthy people pay lots of taxes. Now, there is a difference. I will tell you, if you make your income from capital transactions, meaning that you're doing like real estate, if you're doing investing, that's how the Warren Buffetts out there can say that their tax rate is lower than their receptionists, is because capital investments, that's after-tax money already when it gets invested, it is taxed differently. But for all of us that are doing services or getting wages, you are paying a lot of taxes if you have a big W-2 or if you have big service income. You pay lots of taxes. The other thing that my parents, you know, they always, and it was kind of a whisper thing, is that if somebody was super successful, it was probably at somebody else's expense.
But they took advantage of someone to get there.
And I know now that I've gotten older, I know that some of that, look, I'm not talking bad about it, because I think a lot of you guys probably resemble the childhood I had, is that my parents were not bad people. If they just, this was a coping mechanism. It's the same reason people watch The Bachelorette or they watch The Bachelor. They like to see dysfunction on somebody else so they feel better about who they are.
Yeah.
It's the same way with your finances. If you know that you're not successful or wealthy and you see somebody over here is, usually it's not your fault. It has to be some other third, some force that's working against you that's causing that. So this is the stuff that, and it's also your parents, if you were raised in a household, and if they're Republicans or if they're Democrats, there's a good chance you probably see your worldview in their
Based
same
on that
eyes.
influence, yeah.
And it's all your childhood that influence these things. So you have to be careful how much that stuff gets in your head.
And a lot of times it's not that, like you said, your parents aren't bad people, but a lot of times if your parents didn't know or have good financial habits or financial decisions, how are they going to teach something they didn't know? Because even some good habits can be less than ideal habits. One of your favorite stories that I hear you tell all the time, Brian, is that your parents were fantastic savers. They did a great job of living on
wads. I mean, my parents had the tight wad. If you ever see anybody that takes soap shards, melts them down to make bars of soap, tight wad. I grew up in that type of household.
But so they got the hard part down, the deferred gratification down. The part they didn't get down was how to employ that army of dollar bills to really work
I've
hard
often
for
said
them.
that my parents had the hardest part of becoming financially independent down. They were great with the resource of money. The problem was they never put that army of dollar bills to work. My father-in-law, I don't think my in-laws saved as well as my parents, but my in-laws invested in mutual funds early and often, and they had more money because of that. So they were, you're exactly right. My parents just did not know how to make the most of the money.
Right.
And that's a habit. Fortunately, and I can tell you, when I went to college and I was an accounting major, I didn't know anything. I had never done a tax return. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble here. So you're right. If you don't have somebody in the household modeling good financial behavior, you don't know what you're missing. Thank goodness there's resources like this.